So today I'm going to give some practical advice on how you can control your anger and your temper. So just diving right into it, one of the first things you want to pay attention to is one, how you feel and how you feel physically in your body. So paying attention to your actual physical attributes. Now, some people have different ways that they can tell if they're about to get very angry, and that could be either a tightening of the chest, or sometimes people get a little worked up, like they start breathing either rapidly or they start breathing slowly. Maybe they start sweating, they start perspiring, things like that. So, paying attention to those signs, you can catch it before you get extremely angry. So, if you notice some of these signs right in the beginning, you can kind of change your focus onto something either more positive or walk away from the situation. So that's the first thing you can do. But of course, if that doesn't work, or if you don't recognize the signs right away, and you dive into a situation in which you're angry and maybe you're around people, you're going to want to think before you speak and think before you say certain things. So make sure you think before you speak when you address people and you say things, because if you say something, like, you might not be able to take it back. So make sure you think before you speak, and once you're calm, then you can express your anger, but expressing your anger in a way where you're telling others that, of course, you're angry, and not that you're breaking things and you're yelling loudly and things like that, because if you're acting in that way, people aren't going to listen to you too well. So it's going to be completely non productive to act in a manner in which people aren't responsive. So you want to make sure you're calm, and then you coolly tell people, hey, I'm feeling upset because so and so. And when you express that, that's a good way of getting it out, of course, into the open without being erratic and being ill tempered. So, of course, make sure you think before you speak, and once you're calm, express your anger. After this, and you're out of the situation, of course, getting some exercise will help, you know, release all this energy, release all this anger, and make you feel a lot better. Make you feel a lot calmer, calm your body down, and once you get to that point and you're calmer, of course, you can rationalize better, and you can enjoy your life instead of being angry and being upset, and maybe come up with a solution to whatever made you angry, or come up to a solution with a particular problem. Or maybe if some particular person is making you angry, you want to just cut out the time that you spend with them, either cut it down, cut it out entirely, or, provide them with some kind of ultimatum so that they understand that if this continues, then your relationship can't continue in the same way. So, after you get the exercise, of course, and you're able to be rational, you might want to just take a time out and give yourself some time to think and come up with solutions to the problem, and rationalize and figure things out, figure life out, make some changes, maybe, or write down some ideas for some changes. So identify those possible solutions during the timeout, and you be calm, cool, and collective about it. And, you know, make sure that you stick with your I statements. Make sure you're sticking with saying, I feel this way, I feel that way, instead of pointing the blame on other people, of course, because if you can put the blame on other people, you're going to rationalize it in a way where you're saying, it's all their fault, I don't control them, so I have the right to be angry. But if you can put it in, I feel this way because this and that. Another thing, you can rationalize it as you as an individual feel angry because of certain qualities or certain actions that they take. But instead of just pointing the blame at them and saying you have to do this, that, or other thing, there might be better ways to handle that situation. And plus, putting the blame directly on somebody else is not going to make them feel good, and it might in turn make them just angry with you, or equally start to get ill tempered against you, and maybe later, that result ends up leaving them to yell back at you or have the same issue with anger that you're dealing with right now. So make sure that you stick with the I statements and avoid, criticizing others, and just describe the problem and describe how you feel instead of things that might make it worse. So stick with that, and then of course after the situation, just try to resolve it and face it and deal with it, and then don't hold a grudge against it. Don't hold a grudge against the other people for it. In general, just understand that people mean pretty well, but sometimes they just act a certain way. So that in certain circumstances, or in most circumstances rather, most people are acting in a way where they feel like they're right. So since everybody has their own opinions and they don't exactly mesh perfectly and they differ in certain ways, if something is by opinion, then of course everybody is right by their own opinion. Now, that doesn't mean everybody is right when they make bold statements, and of course, when it involves facts, then somebody has to be right and somebody has to be wrong. But it doesn't help to point that out, and it doesn't help to rationalize in a way, like I said, where the other person is wrong and you're right. Of course, it's important to try to see different points of view and kind of point them together. And if you can understand some kind of perspective from that side, then make sure that you let them know, because that's going to make it easier to have the conversation. Make them know that, hey, I understand that you feel this way because this, that, and other thing, but this is why I feel this is why I feel this. This is how I rationalize it, and I would feel a lot better if this, that, and other thing was differently, or this, that, and other thing worked a certain way, or we could try to do this, and adding these different idea solutions and letting people be a part of it actually helps a lot more, because you start collaborating and working together rather than you're telling somebody what to do or telling somebody what they should do. And people don't appreciate that as much as they appreciate you saying, well, this is an idea and we could try it together, and then you're kind of like including them on helping you with the process, and that makes the tension ease down so much. And if you're just angry about something in general that doesn't have to do with a particular person, and you're just angry about life, of course, you can still use certain other techniques as well. And they might be just using humor to release your tension. And when you do that, of course, you change the mood of things. Instead of being angry, you can change it to happy. And you can also change the mood to a little quirky or a little silly. If you make things a little silly, then they're not as serious. And when things are really serious and you're angry, that's when the trouble begins. It begins in your brain and it begins out there, And instead of making solutions to problems when you're angry, you start to make problems worse, without meaning to. You might have the best of intentions, but sometimes what we do is we just get angry and we don't think clearly about either the way that we're being perceived or the way that we're acting, or maybe how other people feel, because all we know in the moment is that we're angry. So if we can get beyond ourselves and kind of see the big picture of things, see other people's perspectives, and use different techniques where we're actually using our brain to think things through, then it's easier to calm ourselves down and to rationalize and to be more sensible people that can actually take care of the situation. If I were to get up to play baseball and I miss the ball and I go back up to bat and I'm a little upset and I go and I miss the ball again when I swing, if I get angry, the odds of me missing that ball the third time are extremely high, because all I'm going to do is swing at it. I don't even care. I'm angry. I'm going to try and attack. But I'm not thinking sensibly. I'm not thinking about where the ball is coming from. I'm not thinking about the speed of the ball. I'm not thinking about if it's over the plate or not. I'm not thinking about anything other than I'm angry at that ball and I want to hit it with the bat, and that's it. But that's not good enough. I would have to actually focus on my stance when I'm standing at the plate. I'd have to pay attention to how fast the ball might go and what direction it might be going, where it is, and there's a lot of different things that we need to think about. So that's the same thing with other situations as well. In other situations we get involved with, we need to be thinking rationally and still being able to design this, plan of action so that we can resolve the problem instead of just being angry and then we don't make any progress, If something makes you angry, then you should be working on the problem or working on the progress, or getting yourself away from that situation, because everybody's goal in life, of course, is to be happy. And we don't want to be angry and we don't want to be sad, so we don't want to put ourselves in these difficult situations. So you use humor to relax your tension if you can. Tell a joke or remind yourself of something funny or something like that, and it should help. Also, what you can do is practice relaxation skills. That involves your breathing, breathe slow, breathe deep a couple of times. It's going to tell your brain it's okay to relax, calm down, maybe meditate, close your eyes, think of positive things, think of solutions. You're using relaxation skills. You might want to just take a moment to watch something funny on TV just so you can relax. Now, it's easier to use techniques like meditation and everything once you've already calmed yourself down a little bit. So maybe you want to watch a little bit of TV first, and then you can get into practicing your breathing, practicing your meditation, maybe do some reading, something that works your brain and helps you calm down, helps you focus on one particular thing that isn't the problem. Because if you're focusing just on the problem and you're doing it irrationally and angry, you're not going to come up with solutions. So, and then when all else fails, of course, with all those things, you can seek help from counselors, you can seek help from other people, your friends, your family, and just communicate and socialize and talk, and talking it out with other people, and reading maybe ideas online of how you can come up with solutions to problems, or other methods, reading more on meditation skills or how you can learn to relax might actually help you as well. And just taking your mind away from the current situation.